Oh, welcome to another episode of our live stream, My Journey to the Trinity. Oops, sorry guys, I wasn't paying attention. Wasn't on purpose. So just in case he starts playing victim or something, it wasn't on purpose. Okay. So hope you guys are doing good, having a good weekend, almost weekend time. So yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit about a Surah of the women. The Surah of the women is like they see it as a source of pride that the Quran has a surah called the Surah of the Women. In Arabic, it's Nisa. Yeah, you say uh, at the end. Nisa, Nisa, Nisa. That means women. Nisa. And this is called Surah to Nisa, Surah of the Women. And you would think, well, that's so awesome. Islam honors women so much. There's a surah called Surah to Nisa. But if you read what's in Surah to Nisa, you'd think, very strange. Um, it's a very strange way to honor women. And I just want to look at 10 verses from Surah to Nisa. And hey, there's my baby. There's my baby. All right. Oh, it's already November. You guys are already a month ahead of us. Some of you there. So, okay, let me see. I think, how does this go? Okay. Okay, 99. Okay, 98. Okay. All right. We're just going to look at some verses from this amazing chapter that honors women and shows that Islam is not unfair to women, that Islam is very fair and concerned about women. So let's see here. Okay, let's look at the first verse here. Okay, this is for verse 3. If you fear you cannot act fairly towards the orphans, then marry the women you like, 2 or 3 or 4. But if you fear you will not be fair, then one, or what you already have. That makes it more likely that you avoid bias. Well, this isn't the way the verse really is. I'm going to look at the Arabic. Okay, 4. Okay, okay. I'm just going to look at it in Arabic. Look at the Arabic here. The Arabic says, "In khuftum ila taqsitu be fair fi iliyatama." If you fear you will not be fair to the orphans, fa inkahu. Inkahu. How the heck? What the heck does this verse really mean? It says, if you fear that you'll not be fair to the orphans, فَإِنْكَحُوا مَطَابَ لَكُمْ. Then the word inkahu is the word that comes from nikah, and it does not mean marry. Okay? It does not mean marry. Okay? Now I know that they have tried to say that nikah means marriage, but there is a word for marriage in Arabic. I want to try to see what Google Translate will do with this. In kahu. Okay, it's translating it marriage, but the word in Arabic is not original. Arabic is not marriage. It's the word for nikah, which is not marriage. It's to have sex. Mataba lakum min nisa. So if you fear that you'll not be fair to the orphans, then have sex with the women that you want. 2, 3, excuse me, but in the Arabic, it's not 2 or 3 or 4, it's 2 and 3 and 4. Methna wa thalath wa raba. Okay, 2 or 3, 2 and 3 and 4, which is 9, which is what Muhammad had. فَإِنْ خُفْتُمْ إِلَى تَعْدِلُوا فَوَحَدَ. And if you fear that you will not be able to be just with them, then just one. What I don't understand is the connection between the orphan girls and these women. I don't understand the connection between the orphan girls and these women that you're allowed to marry. It's very weird. In the Arabic, it's very weird. Uh, this is how the translation, I really don't like these translations. Let me put on translations that I like. I mean, I don't like any of them, but I definitely don't like Mustafa Khattab. He really, I'm going to try to go with Maududi here, just because well, Halali Khan is good. Let's do those three. Okay, let's just kind of look at how they translate this. Maududi, if you fear you might not treat the orphans justly, then marry the women that seem good to you. You see, there again. Okay. Commentators have explained this in the following ways. There is a view of Aisha who says that men tended to marry orphan girls who were under their guardianship out of consideration for either their property, beauty, or because they thought they would be able to treat them according to their whims, as they had no one to protect them. After marriage, such men sometimes committed excesses against these girls. It is in this context that the Muslims are told that if they fear they will not be able to do justice the orphan girls, then they should marry other girls whom they like. This interpretation seems supported by verse 127. The second view is that Ibn Abbas and his disciple Ikrama, who expressed the opinion that in the Jahiliyyah period there was no limit on the number of wives a man could take. The result was that a man sometimes married as many as 10 women. When expenses increased because of the large family, he encroached on the rights either of his orphan nephews or other relatives. It was in this context that God fixed the limit of 4 wives, which is not true, and instructed the Muslims that they may marry up to 4 wives, providing they possessed the capacity to treat them equitably. Even Muhammad didn't treat them equally. And there's a verse in the Quran that says it's impossible to treat them equally. So, okay. And if you fear you'll not be fairly with the orphans, marry the women who seem good to you, 2 or 3 or 4. So I don't understand. What is the deal? What's the connection between these orphan girls and these girls that you're going to marry? Are these orphan girls the ones that you are going to inkah mataba lakum? I don't know. It's a very strange verse. And let's see, Halali Khan, if you fear you'll not be able to deal justly with the orphan girls, marry other women of your choice. At least Hilali Khan is acknowledging this verse is a problem. At least Hilali Khan is acknowledging there's a problem with this verse because he adds that word other women. So if you are in trouble with orphan girls, marry other women. and it's not Mary. So anyway, this verse right here just kind of brings into question the equity of this surah for women. أو ما ملكت أيمانكم ذلك إدنى إلى تعاون. Okay, or those that your right hand possesses. If you're not going to be fair with these 2, 3, and 4 women, and 9, it should be 2, 3, 4, and 9. Just marry one woman or those that your right hand possess. Yeah, but yeah, this verse has so many problems, so many evil loopholes. So now this brings in a whole different group of girls. You got the orphan girls on one hand. You got the women, the other women that you're going to marry. And then you got those that your right hand possesses. You got these 3 groups of women in this verse. And none of them get treated good. None of them are treated good. You've got these orphan girls, and they are not being treated right. So it tells them have sex with what you can of women, and not just 1, 2. I doesn't even mention 1, at least not yet. It's 2 and 3 and 4. That's 9. So you got this other group of women right here. And if you fear that you're not going to be fair with them, then just 1. Or your slave girls. If you have 45 slave girls, then those. So go have sex with those instead. So you got 3 groups of women in this verse, and all of them are mistreated. All of them are treated badly. That's, the beauty of the Quran, beauty of Islam. And so Islam really is so good to women. It's so just, and wow. Okay, let's go on. Okay, let's look at the next verse that I got here. Now, I mean, you could do 10 weeks of episodes just on this verse right here about how wicked it is. Okay, let's get the next one. Okay, verse 11. God instructs you regarding your children. The male receives the equivalent of the share of 2 females. So here, the inheritance of women, this beautiful verse, Surah, that is women's rights all through and through, says that girls get a half of what males get. So in the same way that women's testimony in court is worth half of a man's testimony, because according to chapter 2, I believe it's verse 232, a woman's testimony is worth half of a man's. So you need to have 2 women to equal 1 man in court. In the same way, when you're talking about your children, the male receives the equivalent of the share of 2 females. So even in inheritance, a woman is half of a man. This is the beautiful equality of Muhammad. Okay. And so beautiful, beautiful. Okay, now let's look at this one. If you wish to replace one wife with another. Okay, this is very funny. It's not funny, it's tragic, but I want to look at the word for exchange. Very strange word, exchange. Okay. وإن أردتم استبدال زوجة مكان زوجة. If you استبدال, I want to see how Google Translate. Istibdal, replacing, substitution, exchanging, replace it, one wife with another. Wow. If you want to replace one wife with another, that's what this verse. So it's actually talking about trading wives, one with another. So maybe your neighbor, you want to trade wives with him. The word there, istibdal. Istibdal. Are you guys seeing this? Let me just show you this. Okay, this word right here, istibdal, is used in the Quran in many different ways. It's this word right here, istibdal. Istibdal comes from the root word beddil. 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 It's the same word that's used in the verse of the Quran says that nobody can change the words of Allah. Tabdil, mubaddil. Okay, it's the same word for changing the words of the Quran, like replacing one word with another. But here it's talking about women. In aradtum istibdal, if you want to trade or replace one wife with another. Isn't that beautiful? I mean, just think about that. Sometimes you go into your living room and you look and you say, I don't like this sofa. So I'm going to replace it with another sofa. Or, you go into your bathroom, and you think, you know what? I don't like this bathroom rug. So I'm going to exchange this. I'm going to change it and replace it, substitute this bathroom rug with another bathroom rug. Okay. Well, here it's exchanging wives, and it uses the word zoja mekan zoja, a wife in place of a wife. وَأُتِيتُمْ أَحَدُهُمْ قَنْطَارًا فَلَا تَأْخُذُوا مِنْهُ شَيْئًا. And you gave them some dowry, then don't take any of it away. So if you gave them a dowry of, a quarter pounder, or Big Mac or something, don't take that away. Do not take away the quarter pounder. In case it was a McDonald's nikah, like what Aisha Muhammad Hijab's wife or ex-wife said. So, Zoja Mekan Zoja. Very nice. Very nice. Islam is so good to women. That's why I hope if there's any Muslim women watching, especially my nieces. I know sometimes you guys watch. Please leave Islam. Please leave Islam today. Women are equal, Jose. Women are equal to men in the Bible. And the Bible commands men to love their wives the way Jesus loved the church and gave himself for her. And in the Bible, you're only allowed to marry one woman, and you're married for life until death do you part. That's how Jesus said it. There's no way around it. Okay. But in Islam, are you kidding? If you want to trade wives, if you want to have more than one wife, if you want to have 4 wives or 9 wives, that's permissible. And then if you get bored with them, you can trade them in. You can trade them in. You can swap them for somebody else's wife. You can trade a wife in place of a wife. It's called wife swapping. Okay. The Quran encourages it, meant for men. Okay. Not for women. Of course not. And so that's how women are treated in Islam. That's how Muhammad valued women. That's how Muhammad valued women. No woman should be a Muslim. No woman should be a Muslim. Terrible, 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 And okay, very, 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 very bad. And you say, well, wait a minute. There's lots of Christians who divorce and remarry and divorce and remarry. Yeah, well, you know, that's, but it's one thing. You can't measure uh, a religion based on its observance, the people who follow it. Okay, Jose says Christians used to burn women at the stake. Well, is there any place where Jesus said to do that, Jose? There's no place where Jesus said to do that. The problem with Islam, Jose, is that the things I'm telling you are what is written in your book. Never did Jesus say to do that. Okay, Jesus never said to do that. Okay, and so, but the Quran does say to treat women like this. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Okay, let's look at the next verse. I mean, we didn't even get through it. It's like if you wish to replace one wife with another, and you have given one of them a fortune, take nothing back from it. Would you take it back fraudulently or sinfully? Let me just look one more time. This is verse 20. This is verse 20. If you intend to replace one, let me see what the Arabic says. وَأُتَيْتُ أَحَدَهُمْ قَنْطَارًا قنطارا, heap of gold, قنطارا, فلا تأخذوا منه شيئا. That's if وأتيتم, and you have given them قنطارا. I'd like to see how that they would, that's not a قنطارا, quintal. What does that mean? What is a quintal? Okay. Anyway, they say that it's something like a treasure or something. Do not take anything from it. So I don't think that this would be the same as giving them like a happy meal, even though that does work for uh, that does work in, according to Muhammad Hijab. Uh, and so, I mean, how can you take back part of a happy meal? You can't like say, I want the fries back or I want the burger back, because, or maybe the toy, because Happy Meals usually have toys in them. But you can't take the hamburger back or of course. So I don't know how this would apply to a McDonald's nikah. Okay. So just beautiful, beautiful. Okay. Now this one is really nasty. Forbidden to you are your mothers. Okay. That means you're not allowed to marry your mothers. See the wisdom? Your daughters, you're not allowed to marry your daughters. Okay, and I don't think marriage is exactly what they have in mind here. Your sisters, you're not allowed to marry your sisters. Your paternal aunts, that means your father's sister. You're not allowed to marry your father's sister. Your maternal aunts, you're not allowed to marry your mother's sisters. Your brother's daughters, your niece, you're not allowed to marry your niece. Your sister's daughters, your foster mothers who nursed you. Okay, you're not allowed to marry your foster mother. Okay. Your sisters through nursing. Now, this gets a little bit confusing because this is essentially saying, like, if a girl, you and the girl both were nursed by maybe a wet nurse, okay, you're not allowed to marry her. Okay. Okay. Through nursing, your wives' mothers, you're not allowed to marry a mother in law. Okay. And your stepdaughters in your guardianships, born to wives you have gone into. But if you have not gone into them, there is no blame on you. Okay. This, you guys, is the Brady Bunch situation that we talked about yesterday. Now, I know, please don't say that I'm saying there was the Brady Bunch in the Quran or in the Hadith. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying, according to this verse, if Mr. Brady, who, by the way, in real life he was gay, so he wasn't really interested in the girls, but if, according to this verse, Mr. Brady married um, Carol Brady, but then became attracted to one of her daughters, but he did not sleep with Carol Brady yet, he would be permitted to marry or consummate a relationship with her daughter, with Marcia or Jan. I don't want to say Cindy, but so essentially this is saying that you're allowed to marry your stepdaughters if you haven't had sex with the mother yet. Okay. Now this is Quran. This is not hadith. You could say, oh, this is weak hadith. No, this is Quran. This is not hadith. It is absurd. You're absolutely right. Wow, I'm in total agreement with Jose Cantu. This is absolutely absurd. But this is Quran. This is Quran, Jose. This is not hadith. This is Quran. Look what it says. Okay, you are not allowed to your wife's mother and your stepdaughters in your guardianship. I mean, so they're already in your house. We're talking about girls who are in your guardianship. That means you are already married to the mother and they are living in your house. Born of wives you have gone into. Okay, so if you've gone into you had a relationship with the mother, you are not allowed to marry her. But if you have not gone into them, so if you haven't had sex with the mother yet, there is no blame on you. So then you are allowed to have sex with the stepdaughter. It doesn't say forbidden. It doesn't say forbidden, Jose. I know, bro. I so empathize with you. I feel so bad for you. I really do, man. I feel so bad for you that you believe in this, that you support this. But this is what the Quran says. In fact, Jose, for you, for your sake, I'm going to get the other English translations of this. Well, you know what? I can actually get quite a few here. This is 423. Okay, these stepdaughters. Okay, I'm going to put in, oops, what is the, okay, let me put in a couple more. Let's also use Sahih International. Let's use Yusuf Ali. Let's use Osmani. Mustafa Khattab has been so sanitized, but you know what? Since I can, let me go ahead. MAS. Well, let's go ahead and let's just see how the different, Jose, this is how different Quran translators translate that verse. It's really, I'm so glad that you see the absurdity of it. I totally agree with you, Jose. It says, okay, these are people forbidden to you, and forbidden to you in marriage are here your stepdaughters under your guardianship if you have consummated the marriage with their mothers. But if you have not, then you can marry them. So you can do kind of like what Woody Allen did. It's Woody Allen did this. He was with a woman. She's a Chinese woman, and then he fell in love with her daughter. He fell in love with her daughter and ended up marrying the daughter, and he's still married to the daughter. Okay, so I know, unbelievable that he did that. And he had Billy Graham on his program once, and Billy Graham warned him, God sent him the best, but let's hope he repents. Okay, so these are forbidden to you, your stepdaughters under your guardianship, if you have consummated the marriage with their mothers. But if you have not consummated with the wife, so you married her, but you haven't consummated yet. But if you have not, then you can marry them. You can marry your stepdaughter. You can marry your stepdaughter. And they're under your guardianship, meaning they're already in your house. They're already in your house, and now you're allowed to marry your stepdaughters, as long as you didn't sleep with the mother yet. Okay? Uh, and your stepdaughters under your care, who are born of your women with whom you have had intercourse. Though, if you have not had intercourse with the mother yet, there is no sin on you if you marry the daughter. That's the beauty of Islam. Surah An-Nisa, women, the Surah of women's rights should be enshrined in the United Satanic Nations. Okay. And your stepdaughters under your guardianships, born of your wives unto whom you have gone in. But if you have not gone in unto them, there's no sin upon you. Again, this is Sahih International. Okay. And your stepdaughters under your guardianship, these are forbidden to you, Jose. You're right. They're forbidden to you, born to your wives, to whom you have gone in, meaning your wives that you've had sex with. But there is no sin on you if you have not gone into them, meaning you haven't had sex with the mother yet. It is permissible to marry their daughters, your stepdaughter. You're allowed to marry your stepdaughter. Jose, this is not hadith, this is not tafsir, it's not da'if, this is Quran. Even as much as the English translations try desperately to whitewash the Quran, on this particular topic, they're not whitewashing it. They're leaving it the way it is actually said. It is devastating. No woman should want this for her daughter. No woman should want this for her daughter. Leave Islam now, yesterday. Okay? Daughters, okay? The stepdaughters in your care, those born of the women with whom you have consummated marriage, that's off limits, unless if you have not consummated marriage, then you will not be blamed. Okay, so if you haven't consummated the marriage, this is Abdul Halim. Okay, let's see how this guy does it. Okay, okay, and the stepdaughters who are your foster children, born of your wives with whom you have consummated the marriage. But if you have not consummated the marriage with them, there'll be no blame on you if you marry their daughters. There will be no blame upon you if you marry their daughters. Jose, Jose. Yeah, Jose. Leave Islam today, before it is too late, Okay. And okay, this is Pickthall, and your stepdaughters who are under your protection, born of your women unto whom you have gone in. That's forbidden. But if you have not gone into them yet, I mean, it's the honeymoon night, but you stopped off for Del Taco or something, and then you catch a glimpse of your stepdaughter, and it's like, you know what? She's better looking than her mother. I want her. Okay, and you haven't gone in onto the mother yet. You're permitted, according to this verse of the Quran, to dump the mother and marry the daughter. You're allowed to do that. Okay, so this is look, Jose. This is what you believe, whether you believe it or not. It is what your Allah said. If you have not gone into them, there's no sin for you to marry the daughters. Okay, here, this is the Yusuf Ali. Your stepdaughters under your guardianship, born of your wives to whom you have gone in. No prohibition if you have not gone in. Okay, so if you haven't had sex with them, there's no prohibition. You can do what you want with these girls. Okay, beautiful, beautiful Islam. Yeah, so beautiful. Okay, let's look at the next one, 7602. Okay, this is verse 24. Okay, and all married women except those you rightfully possess. So you saying you're not allowed to have sex with married women unless you own those women. So if you own them, they're your slaves, then you're allowed to have sex with them, even if they're married, because this is saying, and married women are forbidden to you, except those you rightfully possess. It's what your right hand possesses. So if you have slave girls, you're allowed to have sex with them, even if they're married. Even if they're married. And remember what Sha'arawi said. People, don't be so narrow-minded, okay? Remember what Sheikh Sha'arawi said. Sheikh Sha'arawi said that by doing this, having sex with your slave girls, you are bringing about the end of slavery. Because what is born of that slave girl, if it's your child as the free man, free owner of these slave girls, you had sex with 30 of your slave girls and they all got pregnant, then the babies of those women are going to be free because you're free. And thus, you are bringing an end to slavery. That's what Sheikh Sha'rawi says. And that's like the Billy Graham of the Middle East. That's what he said. He says this is one way to end slavery in the Middle East is to have sex with the slave girls so that they get pregnant and have free babies. Free baby. You can free baby, man. Sounds kind of like, what do they do that they used to do for cocaine? Free base. 7604. Okay. 7602. Let's look at 7603. Men, okay, this is the most famous verse in the Quran, chapter 434. Men are protectors and maintainers of women, as God has given some of them an advantage over others. And the real way to translate that verse, right? Men are superior to women, and because they spend out of their wealth. The good women are obedient, guarding what God would have them guard. As for those from whom you fear disloyalty, admonish them, preach to them. Nothing like a woman loves more than having her husband preach to her. Abandon them in their beds, then strike them. Strike them. Udrubuhunne. That's what Islam teaches. That's what Islam teaches, Jose. Liars, 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 Jose. This is chapter 434 of the Quran. It commands men to beat their wives. You know, Jose, you're just not reading your Quran. Dude, how can you be a Muslim if you don't read your book? How can you be a Muslim when you don't read your book? Jose, please. This is an English translation. I put it on the screen so you can read it. I didn't write this. Look what it's, just read it, okay? Read it from the halfway point. The good women are obedient, guarding what God would have them guard. As for those from whom you fear disloyalty, that doesn't mean they've been disloyal. It doesn't mean that they have done anything bad. It's because you fear they may be disloyal. This is what you have to do, Jose. Admonish them. Abandon them in their beds and strike them. Strike them. Jose, leave Islam, my friend. Please come to Jesus. You can't, you're not, it doesn't matter what you believe. This is what the Quran says. Muhammad hit his wife Aisha once, that according to the hadith, he maybe did it more. Her father did. Her father also beat her up too. Her father, Abu Bakr, also beat her up. Why would a man think his wife is disloyal? Well, it's not that he thinks she's disloyal. It's not a matter of thinking. He just fears disloyalty. In khuftum, if you read the Arabic, in khuftum, in takhafun nishuzahun, doesn't mean they've done anything. But just if you fear, because you're paranoid, then beat them. That's what the Quran says. Jose, please leave Islam. I think you've already left Islam, to be honest. You can't read this and stay a Muslim unless you agree with this. Okay? But this is what Allah commands. This is what Allah, it's not even a suggestion. It's not even a permission. Allah's not giving you permission to beat your wife here. Allah's not giving you permission to beat your wife. He's commanding you to beat your wife. He's commanding you to beat your wife here. So, Jose, leave Islam, my friend. Come to Jesus. I think you already have. Okay. All right. All right. Let's look at 7604. Okay. Okay, this is verse 45, I think, or 43. O you who believe, do not approach prayer while you are drunk, so that you know what you say, nor after sexual orgasm, unless you are traveling. I thought it's against Islam to drink and get drunk. But here it's telling you not to get drunk when you're going to prayer. So if you're not going to prayer, is it okay to be drunk? Because here it says, do not approach prayer while you are drunk. But what if you're not going to prayer? Is it okay to be drunk? I mean, this is a very specific command not to be drunk when you go to prayer. Okay, so in other words, if it's someplace else, then it's okay to be drunk then. Okay, so there you guys have it. How many did I give you? 1, 2, 3, 4. I give you 7. Let me give you a couple more. The Quran is replete with these verses. Let me just show you. I want to go down to 128 because the Quran also has remedies for women if they are afraid of disloyalty from their husband. So if a woman fears disloyalty from her husband, what can she do? Now the man can beat the wife. According according to Islam, um, the man is allowed to beat his wife if he's afraid she might be disloyal. If he fears disloyalty, if he suspects disloyalty, he can beat her. That's what Allah commands. Okay. But what about the woman? If she fears disloyalty, what can she do? Well, the same surah has the answer for that. And it uses the same word. Okay. In وَإِنْ امْرَأَةٌ خَافَتْ مِنْ بَعْلِهَا, and if a woman fears of her husband, نشوزٌ, same exact word used that a husband fears neshuz from his wife. He's allowed to beat her if he fears. Now, if the woman, and it uses the same word here, khafet, imra, if a woman fears her husband, this disloyalty, أو إعرادا فلا جناح عليهم إن يصلحا بينهم صالحا والصلح خير وأخسرت الأنفس. Okay, so here in tataku in Allah can. Okay, let's look at the English. If a woman fears indifference or neglect from her husband, there's no blame on either of them to seek a fair settlement which is best. Now, this hadith, this verse of the Quran came specifically because Muhammad, he saw his wife Sauda, his first wife after Khadija died. He was eager to marry, and so he married someone who was close to his own age, Sauda. And Sauda was old and fat. Muhammad had these young teenage girls, Aisha and Hafsa. And then he had this old and fat Sauda. And so Muhammad was going to divorce Sauda because, he can replace her, exchange her, like the verse of the Quran said. He can exchange her with a newer model. And so he was thinking of divorcing her. Well, then Sauda comes. She hears about this and she says to him, she says, "Oh, Prophet of Allah, peace and blessings be upon you. You know what? You don't even have to come spend the night with me anymore. You can give my night to Aisha, sleep with her twice a week. Okay, but don't divorce me. Let me be in your family." And so he agreed to that. And so this is the fair settlement. And the fair settlement is that she can abdicate her rights. She's allowed to abdicate her rights in sexual pleasure, for any particular thing. She can abdicate all her rights. She's allowed to do this according to this verse of the Quran. If she fears her husband's going to leave her, she's allowed to abdicate her rights. Now, what's a man allowed to do? He's allowed to beat his wife. What's a woman allowed to do? She's allowed to give up her rights to try to keep the marriage together. She's allowed to give up her rights to try to keep the marriage together. That's permissible. So just a really amazing, beautiful verse showing Allah's great love for women, just showing Allah's great concern for women. Okay. All right. Let me just show you one last verse from Surah An-Nisa. And this particular verse really doesn't have nothing to do with women, but has to do with Jesus, actually. And so I'll make this my last one. And it's a trip. It's a trip because, okay, oops. It says here, 171, O people of the book, Okay, let me show you so you can read it with me. O people of the book, do not go to extremes according to your faith. Say nothing about Allah except the truth, like Muhammad did when the devil came on him and put words in his mouth. The Messiah, Jesus, son of Mary, was no more than a messenger of Allah. And the fulfillment of his word, that's not what it says in the Arabic. It says, and his word, and his word, and the spirit from him. Okay. Let me see this. Isa, son of Mary, is the messenger of Allah and his word that he had delivered to Maryam and the spirit from him. That's right. But what the thing here is that Islam does not believe in the Trinity. But here in this one verse about Jesus, you have the Father, you have the Son, and you have the Holy Spirit. You have the full Trinity in this verse of the Quran. Okay. So there you have it, you guys. 10 verses from Surah An-Nisa. Jose, what you need to know is the truth before you die. You need to know the truth. And the truth is Jesus loves you, and then he died for you, and his blood will wash away your filthy sins. He cares about you. So we just encourage you to give up on Islam. For your own sake, Jose, give it up. You're never going to be a happy Muslim. Okay? Give it up. Come back to the Lord. Okay? Come back to the Lord Jesus. Okay? So, all right, you guys. Well, I didn't think I was going to go this long, but we did okay. So we're going to go ahead and end it here. If you haven't done it, please do it now. Jesus, help me. Jesus, forgive me. Jesus, come into my heart. Jesus, help me. Jesus, forgive me. Jesus, come into my heart. يسوع ساعدني. يسوع سامحني. يسوع ادخل قلبي. We love you, but much more importantly, he loves you. Have a great night.